Part 53. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 522. Outside the boundaries of Degzu. The ocean is vast and the sea of blood is overwhelming. The Ghost Lord Tianese took the initiative and blocked the entire sea of blood hundreds of thousands of miles outside the great ruins. The death energy swept across, the resentment was endless, and under the huge ocean, the Ghost Master of the Sky was already full of anger. Two blood demons dare to do such a thing of annihilation. I will destroy them all. He rushed into the aura of death and resentment, his terrifying ghost hands shocked Tianyu, and wanted to kill the two blood monsters hiding in the sea of blood. Haha, brother, we have finished our work, it's time to get out of here. Xuejin sneered. Let's go. The origin of the netherworld has been merged with the endless death energy. This ghost will be infected and turn into a slave of the netherworld. Let him fight with those gods. Xueqin did not hesitate. They used their demon power to push forward the boundless energy of death and resentment, bombarded the dark sky ghost lord, and then turned into two rays of blood and left quickly. Tian and Gui Lord was extremely angry when he saw the two blood demons escaping, but at this moment he was too busy to pursue them. This vast ocean containing the blood of the people in the four star wheels was pushed tens of millions of miles through the starry sky by two blood demons. The inertia was so great that it would swallow up the entire star wheel in just a fraction of a second. In my whole life, I have never dragged others down. The Ghost Lord of Heaven and Darkness shouted loudly all his life, and suddenly, with his boundless ghost power, he transformed into a huge ghost face under the starry sky. The ghost's face was ferocious and angry, but at this moment, he suddenly swung his hands and swallowed the endless torrent of death energy. The Ghost Master of the Dark Sky is fully activated, and he is devouring it like crazy. The speed of the bloody ocean seemed to be slower because of this. However, soon, the Ghost Master Tianan realized something was wrong. The origin of the netherworld. His face looked a little ugly. In this endless death energy, the source of the netherworld has been spread by two blood demons. Netherworld is not only famous in the demon world, but also has related legends in the ghost world. That is synonymous with chaos. Blood monsters and ghosts crawl out of it, and each one of them will make the world become crazy and twisted. Although the source of the netherworld cannot be compared with the terrifying substance of disaster gray fog, it is still one of the most feared evil things in the world. Once contaminated, only those who have killed the three corpses can keep their true intentions. As the endless death energy was refined by the Sky Dark Ghost Lord, his aura surged wildly, but at the same time, the desire for killing and destruction was also constantly building up in his heart. Star Destroyer God Lord, are you such a despicable villain? He spoke coldly. At this moment, he seemed to have understood the purpose of this conspiracy. The other party is trying every possible means to turn himself into a killer and destroyer. Let yourself become a pawn? No. It's not seeing me, but someone else. He gritted his ghost teeth, and the Star Destroyer God Lord had already proven that the ceremony must be prepared for other god-level figures. I was able to escape from the seal back then because it was a game in your hands. You asked me to help your people complete the ritual again. There was a lot of unwillingness in the eyes of the Ghost Master Tianan, and he understood everything, and he was mad with hatred. The wisest thing for him now is to run away. Only by escaping from this deathly aura contaminated by the source of the netherworld and preserving one's own heart can one not become a pawn. With this thought, the grimace he evolved became a little weak, as if it could no longer withstand the impact of endless death energy. But, right now, on his forehead, 4 vermilion words burst out with light. Be a good ghost. As soon as these 4 words came out, Tianese Ghost Lord suddenly felt that the murderous and twisted thoughts were suppressed. This. The Ghost Lord Tianese was suddenly shocked. These 4 words written by the tooth-extracting monster for him actually had such a miraculous effect. At this moment, he couldn't help but look back and glanced at the great ruins realm behind him. Isn't that existence that lives in seclusion in the great ruins realm too terrifying? He actually predicted that he would be in such a disaster early, so he wrote 4 life-saving charms for himself. I have nothing to fear from the dark sky. At this moment, his confidence was overwhelming and he was devouring it like crazy. However, not long after, the ghost lord Tianan began to panic. Because, he found that the words on his forehead were gradually fading. Those few words are sacred, and the power to suppress everything seems to be getting weaker and weaker. It's over, the tooth-pulling monster's power has been exhausted. Tianan Ghost Master suddenly felt a chill in his heart. In fact, the few ink marks on his forehead were all divine objects and were not affected. However, the tooth-extracting monster's power was limited and could not be maintained, so it was now diluted. Or, let's run away. He was a little timid again, mainly because, he was unwilling to give in. I don't want to become a slave to the underworld who has lost myself, and I don't want to become a stepping stone for the black hands behind it. I was tricked once by the Star Destroyer God Lord, and now I have to be tricked a second time. I feel aggrieved. However, when he looked back, he saw the Digzu star wheel behind him. He hesitated. He believed that nothing would happen to the great ruins realm. Although the being in the small mountain village lived in seclusion, he would not watch his place of seclusion be destroyed. Even if the Star Destroyer God Lord comes, he can't afford to offend the senior in the village. But, other star realms. Maybe it will be destroyed. In order to target himself in the surging sea of blood, the black hands behind the scenes have destroyed the 4-star wheels. I have never betrayed anyone in my entire life. How can I see people die because of me today? This all started because of me, so let me carry it. He was determined in his heart. At this moment, he suddenly raised his eyes and tried his best, without any thought of retreating in his heart. He risked his life, madly devouring the boundless energy of death. His realm skyrocketed crazily as the majestic death energy entered his body. From the Ghost Lord's 2nd heaven, to the 3rd heaven, to the 4th heaven. The death energy of 4-star wheels and hundreds of worlds is too vast. Feeling the rising desire for killing and distortion in his heart, he knew that he was about to be infected by the source of the netherworld. Since I have made up my mind, I, Tianan, will not leave any room for myself. He roared loudly. Zhang Xianju, when he swallows all his life energy, he will cause his body to explode and his soul will be scattered. He is running a secret technique, Hidden Heart Ju. The Hidden Heart Ju allows the ghost to repeat and portray a certain simple thought in its mind. Once the depiction is successful, even if the ghost becomes a puppet and is controlled by someone, the thought can occur automatically. The thought he is portraying now is self-destruction. No more escaping, no longer shrinking, only a passion and blood boiling. At the same time, he used secret techniques to send a last order to the group of ghosts under him. And at this moment, in front of the small mountain village, Gaiki and other ghosts are still waiting. My teeth can't wait. The starving ghosts were all anxious. The village is quiet now. It's time for the benefactors to finish their meal, right? Why don't you come out yet? Yeah, I want to pull out the tooth monster. A group of ghosts are waiting and waiting. Wrong. Suddenly, Goichi's expression changed. He suddenly raised his eyes and looked outside the great ruins. A look of shock was written on Goichi's face. The Ghost Lord. What happened? All the ghosts looked at Tianyu in unison. Just a moment ago, all the ghosts received an order from the Dark Ghost Lord. You are not allowed to leave the mountain village. Wait until the weather is calm and wait for the opportunity to return to the ghost world. You don't have to wait for me. You are not allowed to look for me again. At this moment, all the ghosts were confused and frightened. No. Lord Ghost, you must be in danger. The hanged ghost and others all spoke anxiously. We need to go outside the territory immediately. If you find the ghost master, you must find the ghost master. They were all panicked and ready to leave. However, at this moment, layers of ghosts suddenly emerged from Goichi's body. Suddenly, the hanged ghost and others were restrained and unable to move. "Commander, what are you doing? Let us go." The starving ghost spoke anxiously. However, Goichi took a deep breath, with a look of determination on his face. "The ghost master wants us to stay here because he wants to use the power of the village to save everyone's ghost lives. I can't live up to the ghost master's hard work. I'll go find the adults." Step by step, he walked outside. "Damn Geikie, you stinky old ghost, untie me, I'm going to go. Why don't you let me go? If you want to die together, you are not allowed to leave. We are not greedy for life, Geikie, let us go." The starving ghosts and others were roaring angrily, and their ghost bodies were trembling. But Goichi just turned around, smiled slightly, and said, "From today onwards, you, starving ghost, will be the commander. You have only one mission: take everyone back to Gaixiao safely. Goodbye, everyone." After saying that, he turned into a dark wind, disappeared from the place, rose into the sky, and rushed outside the great ruins. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 523. The faint morning light slowly shines into the mountain forest. Also shine into small mountain villages. Most of the villagers have already gotten up and started the day's work. Working at sunrise and resting at sunset, life in a small mountain village is always so monotonous and simple. In the small courtyard, Li Fan woke up from his sleep. He rubbed his eyes, reached into the quilt, and touched Xiaobai, who was sleeping on his waist. The kitten usually doesn't dare to come to bed, but when it's drunk, it becomes very clingy and insists on sleeping with him. Now Li Fan is used to it. Fortunately, Xiaobai is very well behaved. He never scratches people and doesn't disturb them. It seems that he just wants to stick to him quietly. Get up and go out, the sun is quite good. Under the service of Subakian, Nanfan and other disciples, Li Fan finished washing. Gongya has prepared breakfast for everyone. Today's breakfast was finally richer than usual. In addition to plain eggs, rice porridge, and soy milk, there was also loach meat. "Master, the grapes have sprouted." Lu Rang took care of the plants in the yard early in the morning. He was delighted to find that the buried grape seeds had grown into palm-high vines. The unicorn tree has also been full of vitality for a long time. Now it is as tall as a person. Its light golden leaves are quite strange. The little unicorn often wanders under the unicorn tree. The sacred blood grass grows extremely lush, and the everlasting tree becomes stronger and stronger. Even Wu Dade discovered that his molten gold tree actually grew rows of thin thorns. Holding it in the hand, it's very thorny. It seems that rare plants have grown a lot in one day. Li Fan was also quite surprised. In his estimation, it would take some time for the grapes to germinate. However, it is always a good thing. "That's right, master." At this time, Wu Dade suddenly slapped his forehead and said, "I forgot one thing. Well, there are some ghosts waiting outside the village. They seem to be here, to have their teeth extracted. Asking for tooth extraction." Hearing this, a group of disciples were a little stunned. A bunch of ghosts, waiting to have their teeth extracted? Why does it feel weird? Everyone couldn't help but turn their attention to Xiling and Yungzi. Those eyes seemed to be saying, "What have you two done to the ghosts?" Li Fan also has a headache. What's going on? All the ghosts are coming to his door? Feeling everyone's gaze, Ziling and Yun 11 felt a little guilty. We just picked out some ghost teeth. Yun 11 whispered. Zi Ling also nodded and said. Master, I guess, just like a sheep's wool needs to be trimmed regularly, ghost teeth also need to be pulled out regularly. Is that why these ghosts come here to ask for help? When Li Fan heard this, he immediately felt that this girl Xiling was quite smart. Why didn't I expect? Xiling must have said so. Otherwise, if he is a good ghost, not a lunatic or a masochist, why would he come to ask for tooth extraction? He also nodded and said. Have you ever thought that ghosts in this world have such strange features? It's just fun to help ghosts. You can go there after dinner. Hearing this, Yungzi and Xiling immediately became excited. Don't worry, big devil, we will definitely help the ghosts and pull out all their teeth so that we can eat ice-cold watermelon as soon as possible. And Xian Ning also suddenly spoke at this moment, saying, Brother, can I go and have a look with Sister Yungzi and the others? Her big eyes flashed. As a demon, she really wants to understand the world through these ghosts in the world. After all, in the underworld, demons and ghosts are similar to some extent. Even when practicing the immortal way, demons can enhance their Taoism by devouring ghosts. Li Fan thought for a while and realized that these ghosts did not seem to be extremely vicious ghosts. It was okay for everyone to be curious and said. Can. Zinning said happily, thank you, big brother. Soon, breakfast was finally finished, and Yungzi, Xiling and others couldn't wait to go out. Purple Ling. At this time, Li Fan suddenly spoke and said. Go to the second uncle to get some paper money and burn it for the ghost. Li Fan has never believed in ghosts and gods, so he doesn't engage in feudal superstitions. But now that ghosts have really appeared at this time, he feels that it is better to do as the Romans do. After all, it would be embarrassing to pull out so many ghost teeth from those ghosts. Hearing this, Zi-Ling said. Okay master, we understand. Soon. They passed by the second uncle's house. The second uncle was calling Ming Tianbei and drinking tea under the fruit tree. Second uncle. Zi-Ling stepped forward and spoke, saying. Master asked us to get some paper money from you. When the second uncle heard this, he put down the tea bowl in his hand and said in confusion. Paper money. What, is it dead, or is it haunted? If it's haunted, does the second uncle have peachwood nails passed down from his ancestors in his house? I'll find them for you right now. Zi-Ling hurriedly explained. No, no, there are some pitiful little ghosts. Master said to give them some paper money to kill them. Peachwood nails? Although she didn't know what kind of treasure it was, her intuition told her that those ghosts couldn't stand it. When the second uncle heard this, he understood and said with a smile. Okay, the second uncle will look for it for you. Not long after, the second uncle rummaged through the boxes and found a stack of paper money and said. Take it, there haven't been many ghosts in the past few years, so this thing is no longer needed. In the early years, this paper money was a treasure. When the foggy weather came, there were so many ghosts and people did not dare to leave the village. They all relied on burning paper money. In the past few years since Xiao Li came, the village has become cleaner. The second uncle was talking nonchalantly. Second uncle, let's go. Zi-Ling spoke and they left. Outside the small mountain village, the starving ghost and other ghosts are still trapped among the ghosts left by Goichi, and they are all very anxious. The ghostly monster, when will it cease to work? No. Something must have happened to the ghost master. We can't drive away the ghost monsters. They tried their best, but still couldn't get out of trouble. The strength of Geiki is stronger than other ghosts. In addition, due to great opportunities such as the dark origin of the universe and the death energy of the demon refining lake in the great fortune star realm, with the 4 life-saving charms of Be a Good Ghost, the benefits obtained are only second to the darkness of the sky. Therefore, his ghosts and many ghosts can no longer shake him. Huh? Where are those ghosts? At this moment, a clear voice came from the entrance of the village. Suddenly, all the ghosts turned their heads hurriedly. Tooth-pulling monster, help! The starving ghost suddenly shouted loudly, and he tried his best to show his body. Ghosts are extremely mysterious and cannot be seen unless you step into them. Yongzi and Xiling were a little happy to see the starving ghost, and they stepped forward. Do your teeth grow so fast? Nothing leaks out of my mouth. Xiling said happily. It seems that she guessed correctly. The teeth of these ghosts grow too fast, so they need to be extracted regularly. Otherwise, wouldn't the ghost teeth pierce the mouth? Yongzi also said. Where are the other ghosts? Why are you the only ones left? She did remember that the ghost named Tianan had better quality teeth. The starving ghost said. Two benefactors, something big happened. Last night, the ghost master suddenly left, saying that there was something strange happening outside the great ruins. The starving ghost recounted what happened. Ah, nothing can happen to that ghost. Hearing this, Yongzi and Xiling were both a little anxious. That ghost has high-quality teeth, and it will be bad if something happens to it. Two benefactors, please help us solve the mystery of ghosts and ghosts. We will take you there. The long-tongued ghost also spoke hopefully. Now I can only ask for help from two tooth extraction monsters. Yongzi and Xiling took action immediately, but when their magic power was unleashed, the ground cracked, but Gai Xiao did not move at all. At this time, Xining, who followed Yongzi and the others, suddenly spoke. The ghosts live in secrets. For those who are not among the ghosts are as if they don't exist. Sister Yongzi, you can't break this ghost. Let me. After she finished speaking, she stood with her hands behind her hands. She looked like a little girl of 11 or 12 years old, but she had the aura to dominate the world, and she actually stepped into the ghostly world step by step. Wherever she went, the ghosts disappeared. One by one, the ghosts were immediately released. What's going on? Goichi's Goixia was broken. It's impossible, if you want to break through the ghosts, in the divine realm, only the legendary heavenly masters can do it. The group of ghosts were all a little shocked. Could it be that the little girl in front of them was actually a great heavenly master? No. No. At this time, the starving ghost looked a little frightened and said. The ghostly substance was not broken, but seemed to be absorbed by her. She is a demon. The words were trembling. Hearing this, the ghosts were shocked. Yesterday, they had already seen a group of demons picking up garbage in the village. They were already shocked at that time. Now that they saw the power of the demons with their own eyes, they felt even more horrified. According to legend, the demon world and the ghost world are close to each other. There are even rumors that the king of ghosts can be called the devil. Even, according to records, before the demon realm was destroyed by the god realm and the West Heaven Brahma sect, the ghost tribe once fed on the demon tribe's blood. All the ghosts looked at Xuanhuan in awe. Everyone knows that the demon clan's secret land has long been eradicated by the divine realm and Zishan, and all the demon clan's people have been killed. Now, a statue has actually walked out of this unfathomable mountain village. How could they not be afraid? Sister Xuanhuan is so amazing. Xiling spoke. Quick, take us to find the other two ghosts. Yongzi is the Tao. Benefactors, please come with us. The starving ghost spoke hurriedly. A group of ghosts immediately led the way. They can feel the energy of ghosts and ghost masters. Yun 11 and others immediately followed. And at this moment, outside the Degzu star wheel, the sea of blood surged, and the energy of death surged to the sky. Two ghost faces, one big and one small, crazy devourers. Gaiki, hurry up, I'm about to go berserk. In the ghost eyes of the ghost lord Tianese, there is murderous intent, his face is ferocious and twisted, and the 4 words on his forehead have completely lost their power, and they can no longer help him. Master Ghost Master, you go first, let your subordinates come down here. I can still hold on, the words the tooth-extracting monster gave me can still be used. Goichi struggled to speak. In fact, the words on his forehead were almost useless. However, he wanted the Ghost Master to leave. The Ghost Lord Tianan said with difficulty. I have been infected by the source of the netherworld, and I used self-destruction to plant the thought of death in my heart. I order you to get out. Go back to Gaixiao. He roared angrily, suddenly raised his hand, grabbed Gaiki with all his strength, and said. While the words on your head can still save you, get out of here. A fierce ghost hurricane formed in his hand, directly flying Goichi away. No. Goichi stretched out his hand to catch the Lord Ghost, but was unable to do so. All he saw was that the Ghost Lord Tianan smiled hard at him and waved his hand, saying goodbye. Then, the last trace of clarity in Tianan's eyes disappeared at this moment. He turned around, and the nether origin accumulated all over his body burst out. Roar! A ghostly howl carrying endless murderous intent spread throughout the universe and starry sky. The Ghost Lord Tianese had completely lost himself, and he suddenly threw himself into the ocean of deathly energy. When the death energy is exhausted, his soul will be gone. This was the thought planted in his heart. Even though he lost all his clarity and became a slave to the underworld, this thought still supported him and allowed him to block this endless death energy. Thank you all for your rewards and support. I was really touched. They scolded me every day for being short-tempered and urging me to update. But when I felt exhausted, many people rewarded me, encouraged me, and gave me ideas. I was so moved, made. Thank you all. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 524. Above the floating earth of the universe. Lord Xingluo stood with his hands behind his back, and behind him, the 8 gods stood in awe. A smile appeared on Xingluo's face. He was extremely satisfied when he heard the shrill ghost howl that spread across the galaxy in the distance. He knew that meant that the heavenly Dark Ghost Lord had finally become a nether slave. Losing even, being filled with distortion and killing, forgetting everything. The blood-colored sea is filled with lifeless energy. Only a small part of it is left. It's time for me to take part in this scene. He is full of expectations. Behind him, Xuanhuan looked at the scene in front of him with confusion in his eyes. Now he doesn't even have the thought to persuade. He actually destroyed so many creatures in the star wheel, and then went to bombard the Degzu star realm. This is not about narrowing the road, it is about eliminating the road altogether. It can't be saved. It really can't be saved. No wonder Lao Ao. He looked around silently, looking for a suitable retreat route. And at this moment, in this star field, a certain star wheel, in the center of the eternal realm. There is not a single human race in this vast star realm. Looking from the sky of the star realm, one could see the demonic mist filling the air. In the demonic mist, there seemed to be a surging river of blood, filled with the aura of the netherworld, looming. This place is a world completely occupied by demon clan. Dingxing realm. The Dao Tao blood river, carrying a strong aura of the netherworld, meanders through the land of the cauldron star realm. In the blood river, the endless ghost blood gathered into blood-colored giant pillars, supporting the blood-colored giant palaces above the blood river. At this moment, in a certain huge palace, a pair of old blood-colored eyes suddenly opened. Very good, all the blood is gone. It seems that he has gained the trust of those insects in God's domain. I feel that a soul is coming from the underworld, bowing its head and obeying my orders. Haha, I haven't seen such a powerful soul in many years. This terrifying blood demon ghost, when he raised his hand, a deep bloody staircase actually appeared in front of him. And on the bloody stairs, there was actually a soul, staggering towards it. The soul exudes a strong dark origin, the aura is very powerful, and it is as dazed as a walking corpse. If Goichi and other ghosts were here, they would definitely be shocked, because this soul is exactly the same as the Tianan Ghost Lord. The soul of a ghost at the Ghost Master level? Haha, that's a bit interesting. Come, be my effort, give your all to your master. Ghosts will also disappear, but the underworld will live forever. Under my seat, you will enjoy eternal darkness. This terrifying blood demon ghost whispered words full of demonic nature in a low voice, as if to induce him. The dazed soul approached him step by step from the bloody stairs of the netherworld. This blood demon ghost is waiting to completely capture this soul. At this moment, outside the Degzu star wheel, only 1/5 of the vast ocean of death remains. The further you get to the back, the faster Tianan Ghost Lord's strength increases, and the faster he devours them. At this moment, he has reached the 9th level of the Ghost Lord realm. However, he has also completely lost himself. Like an unconscious ghost, swallowing the dead energy is the only thing he has to do. However, at this moment, his opportunity was too powerful. He had reached the peak Ghost Master realm, and the terrifying power exuded from his body had begun to affect the surrounding star realms. Huh? Why did that old ghost fly back? Xiaoling and others had just left the Degzu star realm and appeared in the starry sky when they saw Goichi flying rapidly towards the Degzu star realm. He seemed to be rolled over by something. Commander! Lord Gaiki! The hungry ghost and other ghosts were all surprised. They hurried forward and used their magic together, but they still couldn't stop Goichi. Let me do it! Xianning stood with her hands behind her hands and pointed out with a finger that the dark wind that hit Goichi was constantly being disintegrated. Finally, Gaiki stopped. Commander, what's wrong? Where is the Ghost Lord? The starving ghosts and others hurried forward to ask questions. Goichi said. Ahead, there is a blood demon ghost, riding on the boundless sea of blood, coming to destroy the Degzu star realm. The Lord Ghost can't stop it. His words were extremely urgent, and he said. Why are you here? The ghost I left behind can clearly trap you for 10 days. The starving ghost said, the benefactors are here. Goichi looked at Yun 11 and the others and was shocked for a moment, but then he stepped forward and knelt down. Please benefactors, please save my family. There were actually cold ghost tears falling from his old eyes, and he said. Benefactor, my master has always followed your teachings and been a good ghost. He has never harmed anyone, never. He looked at Xiaoling and the others expectantly. He understands that if there is anyone in the world who can save the Dark Ghost Lord, perhaps there is only the master who lives in seclusion in a small mountain village in the Degzu realm. When Xiaoling and others heard this, they were a little anxious. Nothing could happen to the Ghost Lord. They immediately said. Lead the way quickly. Goichi was excited and overjoyed, and said, several benefactors are coming with me. They were extremely fast, and before long, they had seen the scene ahead. Most of the death energy has been absorbed by Tianan Ghost Lord, but looking at it now, it is still frightening. In the cold universe, the Ghost Lord Tianese exudes a strong aura of the underworld. He is as cold as a rock, with only a violent and raging desire to kill in his eyes. There are ghost lines all over his face, except for the 4 vermilion zigzags on his forehead. No ghost lines grow. Under his feet, the energy of death and resentment fluctuated, and large areas of blood evaporated. The Ghost Lord of Heaven and Darkness is like a messenger from the underworld at this moment. Ghost Lord. Grown-ups. How are you? Starving ghosts and others were all shouting in a hurry at this moment. However, Tianan Ghost Lord was completely unaware of it, as if he didn't know them or heard their words, but he was still devouring the death energy. Lord Ghost Master, we are here to help you. The starving ghost pounced on him. However, the Ghost Lord Tianan raised his hand indifferently, and a ferocious storm of ghost power swept over, destroying the starving ghost in an instant. No. The starving ghost looked horrified. However, the next moment the starving ghost disappeared from the place. Zi Ling has already started painting. The starving ghost reappears next to Goichi and other ghosts. Looking at Zi Ling and others, Tianan Ghost Lord's eyes showed strong hostility and murderous intent. However, the thoughts engraved in Zhang Xianju were quietly working at this moment, so he did not take action, but continued to devour the remnants of death. No. Lord Ghost, he has already. Gaiki's face was extremely ugly. The aura of the netherworld is everywhere, which means the Ghost Lord Tianan has completely become a slave to the netherworld. His state is very strange. He has lost all his soul. Without spirit, there is no spirit. Xianning suddenly spoke. She is a demon and can see many things. My benefactors? Is there any other way? Goichi suddenly knelt down towards Zi Ling and Yun 11, and punched them hard in the mouth. He held the ghost teeth and begged. I'll give you all my teeth. Please save my family. I'm willing to pay anything. Tears kept falling from his eyes. Zi Ling and others were also a little anxious at this moment. Xianning, is there any way? Yongzi asked. There is only peace of mind in the field, and you need to know something about these things. But Zinning shook his head and said. His soul has gone somewhere, and is dominated by the aura of the netherworld. No one can save him. However, she paused immediately and said. Unless Big Brother takes action. In her opinion, reaching this point means that Tianan Ghost Lord is completely finished. But, Li Fan is omnipotent in her heart. He can even recreate the reincarnation of cause and effect and find many disciples in the reincarnation of cause and effect. Not to mention that Tianan just became a slave to the netherworld, even if he was completely destroyed, as long as the elder brother is willing, it shouldn't be a problem. Hearing this, Zi Ling's eyes suddenly lit up and she said. Master may have already taken action. As she said that, she suddenly took out a wad of paper money. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Goi Xin. Chapter 525. Zi Ling took out the paper money. The paper money was yellow and looked very old, and even had some traces of moth damage. But at this moment, when several people saw the paper money in her hand, their eyes lit up. Yes, Big Brother specifically asked to take paper money and burn it to these ghosts. He must have expected it. Xianning's big eyes lit up. Big Brother's every move has always been very meaningful. Since he asked for paper money, it must be useful. Zi Ling, let's burn paper money for this ghost. Yun 11 also spoke. Immediately, they used their magic power to light a flame, took out a dusty yellow paper money, and began to burn it. They are already true god level figures. At this moment, the true god's fire is released, and it can even burn a small world. But that piece of paper money, which looked very old and about to decay, actually didn't move at all amid the fire of the true god. Unable to ignite. Everyone was shocked when they saw this. What kind of paper is this? Goichi was extremely surprised. It was the true fire of God, and it couldn't light up a piece of yellow paper. These papers, the true fire of God cannot be ignited. Zinning was also a little anxious. No, since Master asked us to bring it, there's no way we can't use it. Zi Ling was thinking, and suddenly, her eyes lit up and she said. I see. As she spoke, She immediately took out her paintbrush. This brush was made for her by Li Fan using the feathers of an old hen. Later, Xiling felt that chicken feather brush was too ugly, so she changed its name to Huangtian brush. With the Huangtian brush in hand, she took a deep breath, circulated her magic power, and poured it into the Huangtian brush. Suddenly, a hot flame like red gold emitted from the tip of the pen. When this flame appeared, Goichi and other ghosts all felt a kind of fear, their hearts were trembling, and they even had a desire to run away. Because this flame seems to be able to burn away all the dark things in the world. However, for the sake of the ghost master, they held on to their inner fears, and the ghost's sweat fell down in large drops. Flames like red gold roared onto the yellow paper. The yellow paper was set on fire. However, the yellow paper burned extremely slowly. Under the burning of the phoenix true fire, only a part as big as a pinky fingernail was burning. Moreover, ordinary paper would burn and turn into ashes soon, but the small part of the yellow paper that burned was never burned. Scorch, just some yellowing, changes very slowly. As the phoenix true fire burned, traces of yellow smoke rose from the yellow paper. Extremely strange. Seeing this scene, everyone was surprised. But what to do next? Immediately afterwards, everyone was a little confused. Well, since the big devil said that we should burn it to the ghosts, we should just call them by name and ask them to come and collect it, right? Yun 11 tentatively spoke. It seems that in the mortal world, if you want to burn paper money to ghosts, you will call them by name. Let's give it a try. Zi Ling immediately spoke, what's the name of your ghost master? Goichi hurriedly said. Tianan. My ghost master's name is Tianan. Yun 11 and others nodded immediately. Tianan Ghost Lord, come here to collect money. Xiao Tianan, come and get the money soon. Yongzi and Xiling called out, as if they were calling out spirits. As their words rang out, the demon lord of heaven and darkness, who was mercilessly devouring everything above the death aura in front of him, suddenly turned around numbly and stared at them with empty eyes. And at this moment, this star field, on the cauldron star realm, the Dao Tao river of blood, the deepest darkness, and the strange aura are all over this world. Above the blood river, the blood turned into huge blood pillars, supporting the blood palace. In the palace, a terrifying blood demon ghost king was murmuring in a low voice. Yes, lost soul, only the netherworld is your final destination. Become my slave. Why slow down? Why linger? Freedom is a sin and a kind of torture. Yearning for shackles is the destination you should return to. The blood demon ghost king waved his hand, and on the bloody stairs that appeared in front of him, the sky dark ghost lord walked numbly step by step. You are worthy of being a talented ghost lord level figure with a strong obsession in his heart. Haha, if I were in the demon lord realm, I'm afraid I still wouldn't be able to defeat you. The blood demon ghost lord sneered. Finally, the heavenly dark ghost lord followed the bloody stairs step by step and walked to the blood demon ghost lord. Good boy, you are now obedient. The blood demon ghost king stretched out his old hand and was about to place it on the head of the dark ghost master. But, right now, on this bloody staircase, a voice suddenly sounded. Tianan ghost lord, come to collect the money. Xiao Tianan, come to collect the money. It was as if the girl was chanting and calling out the soul. At the same time, on this bloody staircase filled with the aura of the netherworld, a burst of yellow smoke actually floated. That burst of yellow smoke drifted over, and suddenly, the entire blood-colored staircase and the netherworld passage collapsed in an instant. The Tianese ghost lord, who was as dazed as a walking corpse, suddenly had clear eyes again at this moment. He raised his eyes and looked at the blood demon ghost lord in front of him, and his expression changed drastically. How is this going? He spoke in shock. And the blood demon ghost lord roared angrily. Who dares to steal someone from Xiangyuming? He no longer waited, and slapped the heavenly dark ghost lord with a slap. I would rather scatter this soul. However, the yellow smoke had already drifted in, covering the sky dark ghost lord. The blood demon king struck the yellow smoke with his palm. But at this moment, his terrifying palm disappeared into thin air, as if it had never been struck. What was even more terrifying was that his palm was directly melted and evaporated. Ah! The blood demon ghost king instantly let out a shrill scream. At this moment, he felt an unparalleled pain. His right arm completely disappeared, and even if he used all kinds of magic, he could not regenerate it. No. Impossible. I have proven the way of the king, my soul is immortal, my destiny is immortal, even if there is only one drop of blood left, I can live forever and rebuild my body. Why can't my hands grow back? The blood demon ghost king spoke in horror. He looked at the burst of yellow smoke, his demon eyes filled with fear. What kind of demon smoke is that? Wrong. When this thought arose in his mind, he suddenly spurted out a mouthful of blood, his blood flowed backwards, and 2 lines of bloody tears fell from his eyes. No. Could this be the kind of thing in the legend? If you look disrespectful, you will be blind, and if you have disrespect in your heart will be broken. He spoke tremblingly. At this moment, he did not dare to sit on the throne anymore, and knelt down on the spot towards the yellow smoke while peeing. I was wrong, spare my life, spare my life. The blood demon ghost begged. He was extremely frightened. What was the origin of this ghost master? There is actually such a thing as protection. But the yellow smoke didn't care about him at all. It enveloped the sky dark ghost lord and disappeared directly from the collapsed netherworld fellow Deo. The bloody staircase has also disappeared. Finally left. The blood demon ghost king was still frightened, and his face was covered with sweat. One day, I will actually see such a thing. He got up with difficulty. But, at this moment, he was stunned again. Because, he felt that his body, actually seemed to be aging. All the internal organs and the demonic power in his body seemed to have been chopped off. My lifespan has been completely cut off, and I only have a few days left to live. The blood demon ghost king had insight into himself and understood the truth. He immediately fell to the ground softly, and the demon body trembled violently. Sky! What on earth is that yellow smoke? I am a demon king. I have attained the fruit of the netherworld and live as long as the sun, moon, and stars. But at this moment, I have all my lifespan cut off. He felt that if he hadn't seen the opportunity quickly and knelt down to worship the yellow smoke on the spot, he might not have been able to save his life for these few days. At this moment, the face of the blood demon king was full of fear, and at the same time there was endless anger. When all your blood is gone, you 2 beasts have provoked me into something, if you cheat me like this, I will kill you. He is crazy with hate. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 526. Outside the Degzu Star Wheel. Tianan is here to collect the money. Xiao Tianan came here to collect money. Yungzi, Xiling, and the others are still shouting for their souls. The yellow paper was still burning, but despite the continuous burning of the Phoenix True Fire, the yellow paper still did not burn to ashes. There were still only a few areas as big as a pinky fingernail burning, with traces of yellow smoke coming out, but there was no trace of charring at all. Does it really work? Goichi was a little anxious. He looked at the Tianan Ghost Lord in front of him and found that the Tianan Ghost Lord was still blank. No change. Yun 11 was also a little suspicious, and she couldn't help but said. Could it be that I called it wrong? By the way, does the Ghost Master Tianan have any other names? If Tianan is just his nickname, it should be useless. Hearing this, Goi Kizaoer scratched his head and thought hard. Suddenly, he slapped his head and said, I thought about it, Master Mingzi once called the Ghost Lord, Mao Dan. As he said this, he felt a little guilty. If the Ghost Lord knew about it, he would actually leak such a thing. Then the Ghost Master will destroy himself? Hearing this, Yun 11 blinked his big eyes, as if he felt it was magical. Mao, Madin. She immediately turned towards the burning yellow paper and said, Little Madin, come and get your money. Little Madin, come and get your money. However, as soon as she opened her mouth, the flame on the yellow paper suddenly went out. A corner of the burnt edge of the yellow paper appeared. Apart from some yellow curls, it seemed to be completely undamaged. Ah, why did the fire go out? Is there something wrong? Yongzi was surprised. No. Ghost Lord. At this time, the starving ghost was startled and pointed in the direction of the Tianan Ghost Lord. Everyone looked up and saw streaks of yellow smoke lingering around the Ghost Master Tianan. When that yellow smoke appeared, it seemed as if everything in the sky was reversed, chaos reopened, time and space changed drastically, and there were endless avenues of annihilation and rebirth. It was at this moment that the endless ghostly aura exuding from the sky dark Ghost Master quickly disintegrated, as if it did not exist. The monstrous ferocity, the violent murderous intent, the distortion that had just aroused quickly returned to normal at this moment. Then, the yellow smoke disappeared. And at this moment, Tianan Ghost Lord suddenly opened his eyes. His eyes were clear again. How is this going? The Sky Dark Ghost Lord murmured, looking blankly at the world around him. I was lost, I was infected with the aura of the Netherworld, led by the bloody stairs, and reached the Netherworld blood river, and almost became the slave of a blood demon ghost. But, someone called, and a wisp of yellow smoke saved me, and even suppressed the blood demon ghost in the Netherworld. He was thinking of the scene that had just happened. He felt as if he was dreaming. The blood-colored staircase, the blood demon ghost king, the surging river of ghostly blood, and the mysterious yellow smoke. It was beyond his knowledge. Lord Ghost Lord. Grown-ups. At this time, Goichi, Starving Ghost, etc. were already running over in a hurry. Master Ghost Lord, have you recovered? Are you the Lord Ghost? Goichi and other ghosts looked at Tianan Ghost Lord with great excitement. Tianan looked at this group of ghosts, his eyes filled with emotion and excitement about surviving a disaster, and said, I walked away from the Netherworld once, and a puff of yellow smoke saved me. Otherwise, I'm afraid I would have completely become a slave to the Netherworld. He spoke. Hearing this, Goichi suddenly understood and said loudly, Master Ghost Lord, it was the tooth-pulling monsters and the others who saved you. With that said, he turned around and knelt down towards Xiling Yongzi and the others. Thank you so much, my benefactor. He shouted. Suddenly, all the ghosts, including the starving ghost, knelt down and shouted. Thank you so much, my benefactor. If the word benefactor in their mouths before had more or less a hint of being forced to do nothing, then now, they are sincerely grateful. Goichi also immediately sent a message and informed the Tianan Ghost Lord of everything just now. Ghost Master, the yellow smoke that saved you was probably produced by the yellow paper burning by the tooth-extracting monsters and others. Gaiki said, even he felt extremely frightened. The yellow paper is so heaven-defying that it requires the true fire of the phoenix to ignite, and even with the true fire of the phoenix, it is difficult to burn it out. However, the power is so terrifying. A wisp of yellow smoke enters the Netherworld and suppresses everything. Tianan Ghost Lord was also extremely shocked. I understand, everything is arranged by the senior in the small mountain village. He is completely enlightened. The man in the mountain village is an eternal strong man who can suppress even disasters and grey mist. He definitely has a plan. The words "be a good ghost" are written by his apprentice. How could something go wrong easily? The only possibility is that the disappearance of the power of the words "be a good ghost" is probably a move calculated by his old man. The purpose is to test himself and see if he is a good ghost and whether he can stick to his words. Advice from an old man. Everything he experienced was probably under the watchful eye of his old man. And the reason why I was able to come back was because I cleared the level. Passed the test. At this moment, he suddenly felt extremely happy that he was on the right path. If you choose to flee or retreat, then you will never survive. He looked at Xiaoling and others and saw the yellow paper. Thank you so much, my benefactor. He also immediately saluted. And Xiaoling was also quite happy at this moment. You're welcome, little maiden, get up quickly. Yun 11 smiled and spoke. Hearing this, Tian and Ghost Lord suddenly became confused. He looked at Yun 11 in disbelief. Small, little furry egg? No. Damn it, myself, why did the tooth-extracting monster know my nickname? Only Mingji, who became a ghost with him, would know this. The point is, it doesn't matter if you call him Mao Dan, you can still call him, Little Mao Dan. The invincible ghost master of his generation, the image of a hidden man. This minute I completely collapsed. He was simply embarrassed to death. However, he did not dare to show his reluctance, so he could only grit his teeth and said in frustration. It's the benefactor. Behind him, Goichi retreated silently, a little scared. A group of ghosts stood up. Big brother, it's really scary. Even the netherworld is like a deserted place in front of him. Xianning was shocked. Being infected by the source of the netherworld and losing one's soul is a certain death. Master asked us to bring yellow paper, and it really works. Xiaoling smiled and spoke. As she said that, she looked at Tian and Ghost Lord and others and said. Which, you all line up obediently, we are going to extract the tooth. Don't think about escaping, otherwise, you will lose your mind. She has not forgotten her mission here. Yungzi was also full of expectations and said. It's great. So many ghosts have grown in teeth. If they are pulled out this time, they can make iced watermelons and eat them. Hearing this, a group of ghosts were immediately stunned. At this moment, the mentality of many ghosts was a bit broken. Forget about extracting the tooth, everyone is mentally prepared for this, but the purpose of extracting the ghost tooth is to make iced watermelon. This is too much. Hearing this, the ghost Lord Tianese was immediately furious, his momentum exploded, and he shouted loudly with a look of determination and unyielding, saying. Pull our teeth out. Tell me, is this ridiculous? We need our benefactors to pull out our teeth themselves. Is this ridiculous? I, the ghost Lord Tianan, look down upon those lazy ghosts the most in my life. Doing it yourself has always been my principle, Tianan. He turned around, waved his hand, looked at the many ghosts, and said. Little ones, pull it out for me. Plug it out yourself. As he spoke, he punched his own teeth, and a handful of jade-like ghost teeth fell down. To Anying, please search Yasai. He respectfully held his teeth in his hands and came forward. Yungzi took the ghost tooth and found that the quality of the ghost tooth this time was higher. It was like jasper and was very cold to the touch. Very good, little maiden, keep working hard to grow teeth. The folks in the village are all waiting to eat iced watermelon. Yun 11 opened his mouth to encourage. When Tianan heard this, his mentality suddenly became unbearable. A generation of ghost master was called Xiaomadan, he really went crazy. Moreover, what the strange words imply is that he has to support a village. My life is too miserable, right? However, if he had not had the opportunity to become the supplier of ghost teeth in the small mountain village, he might have lost his life now and truly became the chess piece of the Star Destroyer God Lord. Thinking of this, he was completely prepared and said immediately, "Don't worry, Ian Ying, I will definitely try my best to dirty my teeth." As he spoke, he suddenly said, "Which, my benefactor, can you write me another word?" He looked at Zi Ling eagerly and pointed at his forehead. Zi Ling was suddenly confused. Is this ghost so proactive? And at this moment, somewhere on the surface of the universe, Lord Xingluo is full of expectations and has been waiting for a long time. But at this moment, he was a little confused. The surging death energy and the boundless sea of blood have been almost refined by the Sky Dark Ghost Lord. According to common sense, the Sky Dark Ghost Lord should have turned into a nether slave, and he would go crazy and destroy everything. Why is there no movement? No matter, it's time for my ceremony to begin. He spoke in a deep voice, immediately stood up with his hands behind his hands, took one step forward, and headed towards the great ruined star wheel. Behind him, Xuanhuan had a complicated look on his face. He knew that the ceremony had indeed begun, but my mother, I'm afraid it was a funeral ceremony. Soon, the figure of the Divine Lord had disappeared. Dear gods, Lao Ao has an immature suggestion. Xuanhuan spoke weakly and said, "How about you follow my master and go together? I'm afraid that he will be alone." Hearing this, many gods looked at him in confusion. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 527. You want me to rewrite these 4 words for you? Zi Ling looked at Tianan Ghost Lord with some doubts. I just wrote it casually, it was a lie. Back then, he had threatened Tianan, saying that this was a restriction and that if he didn't obey, he would die. Shouldn't it be scary? Why, you seem to like it very much. Yes, my benefactor. However, Tianan Ghost Lord burst into tears and said, "My benefactor, you are incompetent. The 4 words you wrote saved me. Whenever I am wandering and confused, whenever I am hesitant in my heart, whenever I am at an intersection in a crowded place, your 4 words are like a beacon in the middle of a crowded road, giving me the way forward and giving me the direction to move forward. Give me light and hope. My benefactor, I never want to be a lamplighter. Please write it for me." His eyes were filled with enthusiasm. That is a confused child, his love for dreams is a lost lamb, his pursuit of light. Hearing this, Zi Ling, Yun 11 and others were immediately shocked. There seems to be something wrong with this ghost. What are the ghosts thinking about every day? Is this the legendary nonsense? There was some confusion in Xian Ning's big eyes, but she could also see that the Dark Ghost Lord was so enthusiastic today. It seemed that the 4 words written by Sister Xiling were indeed of great use to them. Xiling thought for a while and felt that she might not be able to understand the ghost's thinking. However, since this ghost is so active, let's write it down. Okay, then, I'll write it for you. Xiling spoke immediately. Hearing this, the Ghost Lord Tianan was extremely happy. Xiling took out the paintbrush, dipped it in vermilion ink, and immediately wrote 4 small words on the forehead of Tianan Ghost Lord. Be a good ghost. The Ghost Lord Tianese felt that the forbidden power appeared again, and he was immediately ecstatic. Great, my own words, no, my own words, are back. Thank you, benefactor. He spoke gratefully. Seeing this scene, the eyes of the group of ghosts behind were all red at the moment. Ah, I want to write too, damn, I have to work hard. The long-tongued ghost raised his fist and punched his own teeth. Get in line, damn, I'll do this first. Although we are all brothers, I will kill anyone who dares to get away. Tooth-pulling monster, write for me. Suddenly, a group of ghosts hurriedly knocked out their teeth. He rushed to Yungzi, Xiling and the others, with his hands on his teeth, his eyes filled with eager desire. Ask your benefactors to search your teeth. Ask your benefactors to search your teeth. They all spoke in unison. Seeing this scene, Xi and Ning suddenly became more complicated. After all, these are a group of powerful ghosts, but now so humble. Aren't you afraid? Xiling was also looked at by many ghosts and became a little nervous. She had a feeling that something was wrong with her random writing. She was afraid. My benefactor, we were afraid you wouldn't write. Goichi said with tears in his eyes. Give us a chance. We are also confused lambs. We need the guidance of a bright light. We want to reach the direction of the desert as early as possible in the confused 4 seasons. The starving ghost also squeezed forward and said with a serious face and from the bottom of his heart. My benefactor, ever since you pulled out my teeth, I have been grateful all the time. You made me understand the meaning of living in the world, not just for myself, but to dedicate myself to others. I didn't have a choice before. This time, I want to be a good ghost. The long-tongued ghost also rushed forward and arrived. 2 benefactors, although I have never had my teeth pulled out by you, I have always wanted to give you a chance. I also lack a bright light and guidance. The ghost Lord Tianan was beside him. Hearing the words of these subordinates, they were all a little shocked. Damn, one by one, you learn very quickly. However, when he thought about it again, he was filled with joy. If you follow yourself, you must have a pattern. Without a pattern, how can he still be his own subordinate? Isn't that embarrassing yourself? He was really good at handling his subordinates. He just wanted to give himself a little applause. Xiling and Yun 11 also looked at each other at this moment. Sister Xiling, otherwise I'd better write to them. I think the ghost's request isn't too much. Yun 11 felt that these ghosts seemed quite pitiful. Xiling also nodded. What bad intentions could the ghosts have? I just want a few words. Is this too much? This is not excessive. She immediately said. You guys line up, I'll write them one by one. After hearing this, a group of ghosts immediately lined up obediently and raised their heads, like children waiting for an injection. Xiling held the brush and wrote one by one. The first one is Geiki. She thought about it and felt that it was a bit too monotonous to write be a good ghost. An idea struck her, and she immediately wrote 4 words on Goichi's forehead. May you be happy and prosperous. As soon as these 4 words came out, Goichi suddenly felt that the restless ghost energy in his body had calmed down. Originally, he had also swallowed countless death energy, and there was some netherworld origin in his body, but now it was all washed away. On the forehead of the starving ghost, Xiling wrote, Lucky star shines high. What the long-tongued ghost got was, everything goes well. Immediately after that, there are all similar words. A group of ghosts have been written. I failed this time, ha ha ha. If there is a dark source of the universe, I can swallow it with confidence. Very good. This ghost will rise from now on. Everyone was extremely excited and very happy. They have all seen with their own eyes how powerful the words written by the tooth extraction monster are. Only the starving ghost was happy, but at the same time he felt a little inexplicably uneasy, and couldn't help but ask. Benefactor, why do I feel so weird when I bear the words Lucky Star Shines Brightly? Xiling said. Okay, it's all auspicious. Hearing this, the starving ghost was relieved. The tooth extracting monster said it was auspicious, so it must be no problem. When Tianan Ghost Master saw that all his subordinates had written words, he was so happy at this moment. Because, This word is not as simple as a word, it is simply embarrassing to these ghosts. A team with all members involved. At this moment, Tian'an felt himself swelled. "Thank you so much, my benefactor." He spoke loudly and said, "We must work hard to clean our teeth, and we must work tirelessly to allow the village to grow ice and watermelons as soon as possible." A group of ghosts also yelled, "I will go to the ice to increase the watermelon as soon as possible and work tirelessly." It was simply a sound that shook the sky. Yongzi and Xiling couldn't help but laugh. If the big devil sees this scene, he will definitely praise us for our ability. Yongzi is a little proud. The day when the whole village can eat iced watermelon is getting closer. But, right now, outside the great ruins, there was suddenly endless sacred fluctuations, as if there was a peerless god walking in the void. This kind of fluctuation is getting closer and closer, making everyone in the field a little scared. On the other side of the universe, I saw a middle-aged man coming with his hands behind his back. He was like a god in the 9 heavens, set off by thousands of divine lights, extremely sacred. The Divine Lord had already arrived outside the great ruins star wheel. 2 divine eyes in his eyes shot straight into the galaxy and fell on the Tian'an Ghost Lord and others. He stared at the heavenly dark Ghost Lord with a fearless look on his face, like a messenger of mercy and justice, and drank righteously. "Tian'an Ghost Lord, you are ruining lives and bringing trouble to the world. I will never tolerate you. Get out of here. Today, I will do justice for heaven, for the peace of the common people, and for the peace of the universe. I will destroy you." Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 528. Lord Xingluo has arrived. He was high up, with endless divine light emanating from his body. He was high up, looking down at the sky dark Ghost Lord, with an awe-inspiring righteousness. "Tian'an Ghost Lord, my brother suppressed you in the past, but unexpectedly allowed you to escape. Now you actually dare to take action against the common people of the universe and commit such a heinous crime. It really deserves to be killed." He scolded coldly. On the other side of the Degzu star wheel, everyone was looking at God Lord Xingluo. "You bastards from God's domain, it seems like these beasts are the masterminds behind this." Goichi clenched his fists with anger on his face. During this time, they have been being plotted against, and now, the person behind it has finally shown up. But Tian'an Ghost Lord looked at Xingluo Divine Lord calmly at this moment. In the calmness, there is an unparalleled murderous intent. Everything is a game. Treat him as a stepping stone and a chess piece, just to complete the other party's ritual. In fact, if I hadn't been extremely lucky, I would have actually met the tooth-extracting monsters from the small mountain village in the Great Ruins realm. Maybe he is really finished, and he will have no power to fight back in this conspiracy. But now, everything has changed. He took a step forward, with ghostly aura behind him, and ghosts looming under his feet. He stood with his hands behind his back, extremely domineering. He did not speak, but used ghost power to shake the void and made a sound. "In the past, when seeing me escape from my hands, you were just a lost dog beside him." The Ghost Lord Tian'an didn't speak, because he didn't want to lose his momentum at this moment. "You dare to plot against me today." There was a kind of disdain in Tian'an's words. But upon hearing this, Lord Xingluo was shocked. He looked at Tian'an Ghost Lord in disbelief and said, "What? You still retain your consciousness? How can this be?" He looked around in shock. No, the death energy and blood-colored ocean all over this corner of the star field have obviously been refined and absorbed by the Sky Dark Ghost Lord. He even felt that the Tianese Ghost Lord had skyrocketed in cultivation due to devouring too much death energy, and now he has become a peak Ghost Lord, even stronger than when he fought with his elder brother Seeing de Shenjun. But the Ghost Lord Tianese actually didn't become a twisted and crazy nether slave? Is it possible that the source of the netherworld hasn't attacked yet? This thought flashed through his mind, and he was immediately convinced. That must be it. The nether origin is very famous in the god realm. During the war between demons and gods, countless powerful men in the god realm were infected by the nether blood river and became nether slaves. Among them, there are even god-level figures. And Tianan, no matter how strong he is just a ghost master. It's impossible to bear it. Haha, how long can you hold on? Tianan, from the moment you left Gaixiao, it was destined that you could only be dominated by us for the rest of your life. Lord Xingluo spoke coldly. The Skydark Ghost Lord is approaching the Xingluo God Lord step by step. He has a gloomy face and uses ghost power to transmit his voice. His voice shakes the entire area. Do you really think you can dominate everything? You must know that there are many existences in this world that you cannot look up to. Today, I will kill you. Then, he took action. The overwhelming ghost energy turned into a gloomy ghost, overwhelming the sky and almost completely covering the Xingluo God Lord. Although there have been some minor incidents, but they can't change your fate. Lord Xingluo God shouted angrily and said. Death is your only end. Endless divine light burst out from him. The sacred aura intertwined with the gloomy ghosts. In an instant, the light and darkness continued to dissolve, and the terrifying avenue fluctuated with it, and the two began to fight fiercely. From the beginning of the war, it became fierce, and both sides tried their best. Their battlefields were constantly changing, with a ghost lord and a god lord both standing at the pinnacle of the same realm. Onigami-sama will definitely win. Nonsense, Onizu-sama is the strongest. The miscellaneous boss who killed Sinai actually killed so many people. Goichi and others watched the battle nervously. Among them, only Goichi managed to break through to the Ghost Master realm, but his realm was too low and he couldn't intervene at this moment. It turns out that the people from the Divine Realm are leading all of this. Yun 11 and the others also looked at it with disgust on their faces. In order to achieve their own goals, the people in the Divine Realm sacrificed many living beings in the Star Wheel, and their hands were stained with blood. The Skydark Ghost Lord and the Xingluo Divine Lord were fighting to the point of boiling over. The stars and rivers trembled, and the sky trembled. At the beginning, both sides were evenly matched. However, soon the aura of Lord Tianan exploded, and his ghost body glowed with an extremely powerful purple light. As soon as the one purple ghost body came out, Lord Xingluo's expression changed drastically. What? In this life, you actually evolved a ghost king body. How can this be? Lord Xingluo's face was extremely shocked. You must know that the Ghost King body is extremely powerful. Even in the Divine Realm, only the legendary God King body can compete with it. As for the Divine King body, it is only known by name in the Divine Realm, and that kind of genius is almost hidden in the snow, making it difficult for the world to see. What kind of opportunity is there in this great ruined star wheel? Lord Xingluo, I feel that the situation seems to be a bit beyond my imagination. The purple ghost body is no longer my limit. As for the Ghost Lord Tianan, his fighting spirit was high at this moment, because he discovered that his physique had undergone another subtle change in the ZIG ghost body. There is a mysterious yellow light evolving. This seems to be due to the yellow smoke that saved him from the netherworld blood river. At this moment, he gradually understood that the existence in the small mountain village not only saved him, but also granted him great blessings. His ghost power is so powerful that every move he makes hundreds of thousands of miles of galaxies almost enveloped in ghosts. However, the Lord Xingluo is like a kite that is about to break its string. Cough. Lord Xingluo, coughing up blood. He stimulated the ghost power so much, the netherworld origin in his body must be about to explode. Although Lord Xingluo was injured, the look of anticipation in his eyes became more intense. Tianan, come if you can. Suddenly, Lord Xingluo teleported directly to a star wheel. The Ghost Lord of Dark Sky attacks ferociously, and the star wheel will be destroyed first. And he has prepared the trump card to communicate with this world. At that time, the spirit of heaven will awaken, and he will fight for the common people, thereby gaining the recognition of heaven and earth. Seeing this, the Ghost Lord Tianese just snorted coldly, restrained his methods, and managed to control the speed to force the Lord Xingluo away from the star wheel. Seeing this, Lord Xingluo became a little anxious. Lord Tianese ghost was still conscious, so he would not go crazy and destroy the world, even deliberately avoiding it. If this happens, his plan will fail. Damn it, what's going on? Even if a god-level figure can't suppress the source of the netherworld, he can still suppress it while doing it. This is impossible. Could it be that those two blood demon ghosts did not spread the source of the netherworld? Lord Xingluo feels a little suspicious. Suffer death. The big hand of Tian Ghost Lord struck down with another palm, and immediately, the body of Lord Xingluo seemed to be torn apart. He was extremely miserable, and the divine blood was spilled in the universe. Large areas of the universe were penetrated and annihilated by the divine blood. What the hell, why aren't you crazy? You are going crazy. If you don't go crazy, my mother-in-law will go crazy. Lord Xingluo stumbled back, feeling that he was at the end of his rope. But Tian Ghost Lord, as if he had just entered the state, was killing Xingluo God Lord. At this moment, God Lord Xingluo was in despair. He suddenly raised his head, looked into the depths of the starry sky, and said, "Brother, save me." He decided to call someone. You can only rely on your own big brother. And following his call, deep in the starry sky, as if there was a roar of the avenue, a huge palm suddenly came out, crossed the endless galaxy, and came with a bang. This big hand appeared, and the entire star field trembled. The original principles of countless star realms are almost going crazy. Even the shadow of the world tree appeared in the great ruined star wheel. In the universe, there are inexplicable rules emerging to stop this big hand. Because the appearance of this big hand has exceeded the upper limit of this corner of the universe, it will have an unimaginable impact on this universe. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 529. When Xingluo Shenzhou Mountain ran out of water, a big hand reached out from the depths of the universe. This big hand directly shook the galaxy. Not good. Is this, a divine king-level figure taking action? It must be seeing me, the young boy from the divine realm who plotted to frame the Ghost Lord back then. Goichi and other ghosts were extremely angry at this moment. In the battlefield, the demon lord Tianese raised his eyes and looked at the protruding hand. Incomparable anger burst out in his eyes. Why did a generation of ghost masters sink to this day? In the past, he was the most talented ghost master among the ghosts, and he was already qualified to attack the Ghost King realm. However, his subordinates, relatives and friends were suppressed by the God realm, and even his beauty was kidnapped by the people in the God realm on his wedding day. Therefore, he rushed out of Galaxy in a rage and hunted down the Star Destroyer God Lord in the Endless Star territory. In that battle under the starry sky, he almost completely killed the Lord of Star Destruction. However, at the last moment, a strong man from the divine domain intervened. It was then that he realized that everything was a trap. The spirit of heaven and earth opened its eyes, allowing the Star Destroyer God Lord, who was already close to death, to successfully take that step. The Ghost Master Tianan fell short of success and was suppressed for thousands of years. Thousands of years later, he managed to escape, but found that everything was in the same trap again. Now, under the starry sky, a scene very similar to that of the past happened. When he was about to destroy the Lord Xingluo, the Lord Xingluo intervened. He was so angry that his purple ghost body exploded, as if there were countless beasts condensed by ghosts roaring around him and charging towards the big hand. He wants to fight the God King. However, in the next moment, the peerless hand that came from nowhere suddenly made a move in the galaxy. Immediately, the stars in the sky seemed to be pulled. I saw dozens of star wheels moving sideways in the universe, held in the hands of that terrifying and huge hand. At this moment, the dozens of star wheels imprisoned by the big hand were wailing and trembling, and the original Tao gave up on the star world and wanted to escape. But in front of a god-level figure, a star realm is just like a speck of dust. Then, in that big hand, there seemed to be an ocean-like law boiling, and in an instant, terrifying blood energy erupted in every star realm. This big hand from the God Lord killed countless creatures. This scene is extremely terrifying. You must know that the two blood demon ghosts only destroyed 4 star wheels before and after, but now, as soon as this big hand took action, it wiped out the lives of dozens of star wheels. This is the Divine King, a superior being, a peerless strong man that all heavens must respect. For such a character, the life and death of billions of creatures is just a matter of a thought. That big hand was instantly filled with endless death energy. At the same time, the great Tao of hands evolved endlessly, actually smelting the death energy of countless worlds together. Haha, Lord Tianese Ghost, you helped me realize the Divine Lord in the past. Today, I also give you a great gift. Deep in the starry sky, there seemed to be a cold voice. Then, with a gentle tap of his big hand, a stream of light hit the place and was submerged in the death aura. At this moment, in the heavens, in countless star realms where all living things have been extinguished, torrential streams of deathly energy pour out and gather into a sea. In that sea, a ghost suddenly reappeared. That's a female ghost. A female ghost, wearing a long red dress, like a wedding dress, with an enchanting and peerless appearance. The sea of peerless death energy left by the Star Destroyer God became the foil at her feet. This female ghost takes the death energy of dozens of star wheels as its body. At this moment, the Ghost Master Tianan looked at the female ghost with a shocked look on his face, and said in silence, "Bingruo." This female ghost. Surprisingly, it was his former confidant. At this moment, looking at the female ghost who appeared, Tianan Ghost Master was extremely excited, and his eyes seemed to have 1,000 words. "Miss Bingruo, if nothing happens, she may become our mistress." At that time, Miss Bingruo and the Ghost Lord were engaged in an alliance, but on the day of her wedding, Miss Bingruo was intercepted by the Divine Realm and captured. Thousands of years have passed. I thought Miss Bingruo had died in the Divine Realm, but I didn't expect, she actually reappeared. When Goichi and other ghosts saw the female ghost in red, they were all shocked and sighed, and told old stories from the past. Tianan and Bingruo were once a pair of ghosts who envied others among the ghosts. But Bingruo was kidnapped by the Divine Realm on her wedding day. The heavenly Dark Ghost Lord was so angry that he killed the ghosts and fought with the Star Destroyer God Lord, even destroying countless star wheels. For thousands of years, almost everyone believed that Bingruo should have been killed. But today, she actually reappeared. Over the years, I have completely refined this female ghost. Today, I have made her take the resentment of many worlds as her body and the power of all worlds as her soul. If you kill her, the many star wheels connected to her will explode, and the star wheel crying ritual will be promoted by you. If she kills you, she will also destroy everything and become a disaster in this star field. The scene of star wheel crying will also appear. Deep in the starry sky, the proud laughter of the Star Destroyer God could be heard, as if he was looking forward to it. Tianan Ghost Lord, do you think you can escape? Even if I tell you everything clearly, what can you do? Ants are just ants. Even if they know everything, they can't resist their own humble and puny destiny. Hearing such words, Tianan Ghost Lord was stunned. He looked at the female ghost in a red dress above the endless death energy. She is as cold and charming as she was when he first met her. At that time, she was even just a true ghost, but later on, she continued to amaze him throughout the years. They grew up together and wandered in the ghost world together. He became famous, and she was the most beautiful ghost in the world. However, on the wedding day, at the moment when he thought ghosts were the happiest, because of God's domain's plan, everything suddenly changed. I have fought thousands of miles for her, I have made the stars cry for her, I have been suppressed for thousands of years for her. Now that I see her again, she is no longer her. Bingruo has been refined by the Star Destroyer God Lord and has completely become a puppet. The murderous puppet. No. At this moment, the Ghost Lord Tianese was like a wounded lone wolf, letting out a deep roar. There was clearly endless sadness hidden in this roar. You are the one who forced me to do this. Originally, if you obediently turned into a netherworld slave and completed this ritual, there would be no need for such pain. If I hadn't been forced to do anything, I would really be reluctant to part with this female ghost puppet. After all, although she is a ghost, my soul has had sex with her day and night. I have to say that this female ghost's the taste, is indeed very good. The Star Destroyer God sneered, and there seemed to be a trace of regret in his words. Taste the pain I have given you. Life and death, love and hate, falling in love and killing each other, is there any better drama in the world than this? As soon as the words fell, the hand where the Star Destroyer God's magic power was concentrated gradually disappeared and actually exited this universe. Existences in the 33rd heaven are not allowed to go down to the lower world privately, let alone attack the lower world privately. If he takes action for too long, he will be tainted with the aura of this world. When he returns to the divine realm, he will be noticed by Sci-fi and it will be difficult to do anything good. So, he left because all the arrangements were completed and there was no need to stay. At this moment, the terrifying pressure in the sky has disappeared. However, a female ghost in a red dress was approaching the Ghost Master Tianan step by step with endless death energy. There was only indifference in her eyes, as if she didn't know the Ghost Lord Tianan at all. No. The Tianese Ghost Lord's eyes were filled with sadness. He raised his hand, as if he wanted to get closer and touch Bingruo's face. However, Bingruo just pointed at Tianan Ghost Lord. Tianan was immediately hit by this terrifying ghost power and flew backwards. His ghost body had a chaotic hole in his chest. If he hadn't evolved into the purple ghost body now, this finger would probably have driven him to pieces. The Ghost Master Tianan's ghost body trembled. He looked at Bingruo. He wanted to take action. He should have taken action, but how can it be? She no longer remembers everything, but he has never forgotten. He remembered her smile, her beauty, and every word she said on the day she agreed to marry him. Now, a generation of ghost masters once suppressed the Star Destroyer God Master and could not raise his head, but now he is like a helpless child, at a loss what to do. Lord Ghost Lord. When Goichi and others saw this, they were extremely anxious and worried. Benefactor, could you please burn the yellow paper again and save our group mother? Goichi turned his head and looked at Yun 11 and others, his eyes full of hope. Just now, the Ghost Lord Tianese had been corroded by the source of the netherworld, but he was still able to save him. Now maybe Bingruo can come back again. Let's give it a try. Yun 11 and Zi-Ling were also extremely angry. The Star Destroyer God Lord was too cruel, breaking up Tianan and the two of them, and setting up such a bloody situation. Zi-Ling ignited the Phoenix True Fire, and then burned the yellow paper. Bingruo. She followed the method just now and called out. As soon as she said these two words, a puff of yellow smoke appeared between heaven and earth and fell towards the female ghost in the red dress. However, wherever this yellow smoke went, it destroyed everything, including the endless death energy, including the rules of heaven and earth. It seemed that it was going to destroy Bingruo and everything that happened to her. Ah! The female ghost in red let out a shrill wail, extremely ferocious, as if she was about to die. This scene shocked everyone. No. What kind of smoke is this? It's so scary. When Lord Xingluo saw this scene, he was shocked and looked at Yongzi Xiling in disbelief. At first, he didn't pay attention to these two girls, because in his eyes, these two girls were too weak. But now, how could the yellow paper in their hands cause such a terrifying scene? It was as if the world was about to be destroyed, and he felt a thrill in his soul, as if the yellow smoke represented the end of everything. No. The ghost Lord Tianan cried out loudly, his eyes filled with unbearability. How can I bear to see a beauty being killed? Ziling and Yun 11 were also surprised when they saw the scene and hurriedly extinguished the flames. The yellow paper no longer burned, and the yellow smoke that stretched across the sky and earth and seemed to destroy everything disappeared in an instant. How is this going? Yongzi and Xiling were extremely confused. This yellow smoke can obviously make the ghost master Tianan return from his lost state, so why do you want to kill Bingruo? At this time, Xianning sighed slightly, but there was a kind of pity and sympathy written on her childish little face, and she said, "This ghost is no longer Bingruo. The real Bingruo has been completely refined by Tianan Ghost Master, and not a single soul remains. The situation is different from Tianan Ghost Master, so some changes have occurred. The effect of the yellow smoke is to suppress it. Perhaps only the eldest brother can understand the secret. This is just Xianning's guess." As she said that, she looked at the demon Lord Tianese in front of her and said, "She must die. You can't take action. Let Sister Xiling and Sister Yongzi burn yellow smoke and settle this matter for you. If you don't kill her, she will destroy the world, you will die, and countless people will die. This will also become her sin. This is a kind of mercy and a kind of mercy. If Bingruo can't be saved, he can only kill him. And Xianning has already seen that Tianan can't move his hands." However, when Tianan heard this, he remained silent. He looked at the female ghost in red in the sky, tears flashing in his eyes. He was deeply in love, but at this moment, he resolutely said, "I will do it myself." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 530. I will do it myself. The Tianan Ghost Lord's words seemed to have been spoken with all his strength. The female ghost in red, Bingruo, had returned to normal after the yellow smoke disappeared, and now she was pressing forward step by step towards the ghost master Tianan. "Bingruo." The ghost lord Tianan spoke. But what greeted him was Bingruo's decisive killing methods. Endless killing. In a sense, Bingruo at this moment has no connection with the original Bingruo except that his appearance is the same. The real Bingruo has been eaten away and refined bit by the Star Destroyer God Lord over thousands of years. The battle between the two sides has begun. In the universe, Senluo ghost energy surges wildly. It seems that this corner of the star field has completely turned into a ghost. Among the ghosts, the aura of death is overwhelming, and the aura of darkness is everywhere, sometimes turning into various terrifying beasts, fighting and fighting. The Ghost Master Zig of Tianese exploded, his ghost power was unparalleled, and wherever his punch hit, he could break through almost all Bingruo's attacks. It can be said that in the same realm, he is probably already an invincible strong man. After all, first he got the Ghost King body born from the dark origin of the universe, and then benefited from the mysterious yellow smoke. The purple ghost body is further evolving. God knows how much potential he has now. The Ghost Lord Tianan had the upper hand, but he could not win for a long time. Because, he kept holding back many times. Bingruo. The ghost lord Tianese came closer and was already at Bingruo's side. He stretched out his hand and grabbed Bingruo's hand, but what he got was only endless violence and coldness. He tried to control Bingruo, but was injured by Bingruo's burst of ghost power, and his soul and body were a little confused. Tisk, tisk, fall in love and kill each other, fall in love and kill each other. Lord Xingluo looked at the battle with a sneer on his lips. Both sides were already occupied, and he knew that the end was not far away. He took out a square array disc. The formation disc was carved with a strange Tiandao stone. It was made by a big shot in the divine domain and could awaken the spirit of Tiandao. Originally, the way of heaven cannot be deceived, but over the ages, many extraordinary figures in the 33rd heaven began to study the loopholes of the way of heaven. The heavenly path in the lower world has become a testing ground for those big shots. Moreover, some results have been achieved. The proof ceremony of the Star Destroyer God Lord in the past was an experiment by some big shots. The success of that ceremony meant that those big shots found some patterns of the heavenly spirits in the lower world and could use them. The Tiandao stone formation plate is its product. At this moment, the Tiandao stone formation disc slowly started. How can I help little midden? Yun 11 looked at the battle, his big eyes filled with sympathy. Tianan and the two are really pitiful. Their fate is too cruel to them. They met after thousands of years, but they fell in love and killed each other. There is no way, perhaps, this is Tianan's own calamity. Xianning sighed slightly and said. Only by killing the thoughts of the three corpses can we transcend, although it is cruel, we must face it. Under the influence of Li Fan, in the small courtyard, Xianning has developed the habit of reading. She has dabbled in a wide range of topics and has become quite knowledgeable and has insight into it all. Hearing this, Zi-Ling was thoughtful and said. Yes, this level can only be overcome by Tianan himself, otherwise, he will have inner demons and nightmares throughout his life. It will even make him sink. With that said, she turned around and left. Zi-Ling, where are you going? Seeing this, Yun 11 spoke in confusion. Zi-Ling said. This is Tianan's own test. He has to go through it on his own. We really shouldn't interfere. But, it shouldn't be like this. Sentimental ghosts can't get married eventually, but they have to fall in love and kill each other. This shouldn't be like this. I'm going to find Master. Master must have a way. Hearing this, Yun 11 also nodded and said. I am coming too. The two of them left, but Xianning stood in the field with her hands behind her back. She is observing that demons and ghosts are similar in their ways. She is confirming and understanding something at this moment. The battlefield has fallen into a stalemate. Tianan Ghost Lord has countless opportunities to kill Bingruo. But in the end, he relented and gave up the opportunity, and was even injured all over by Bingruo. Bingruo, can you really not come back? The Ghost Master Tianan was struggling in his eyes. But at this moment, Bingruo seemed to have completely exploded because she couldn't fight for a long time. She took crazy shots. She was no longer just targeting the Sky Dark Ghost Lord, but also wanted to destroy this corner of the star field. The Ghost Master Tianan tried his best to stop him. By now, he fully understood that he really couldn't save Bingruo. He puffed up his chest and approached Bingruo step by step. Bingruo's attack bombarded his ghost body. But he no longer dodges or resists. Do you still remember the first time you and I met? At that time, I was hunted by the enemy. In order to improve my strength, I had to take the path of devouring my own kind, but you told me that even if I am a ghost, I must be righteous. You saved me. He remembered the first time they met. That is, he is still weak, like a lonely ghost. The ghost world is full of cruel killings and ruthless battles. Darkness and terror are the keynotes of the ghost world. However, she is like a lotus in the mud. There is no cunning and insidiousness, no greed and viciousness, but only a yearning for goodness. It was as if she didn't belong to that ghost world. If it weren't for her, perhaps Tianan's life path would have changed, and he might have become a powerful but evil ghost master. I will never forget those words of yours. I have never done anything unjust in my life. Tianan murmured and said. Do you still remember that in the ghost world, you and I planted the flowers of the other side with our own hands? You said that if there really is the other side, then I hope it is a pure land without fighting. You once said that you yearn for reincarnation and a clean life. Do you still remember that we once sneaked into the divine realm just to see the ocean created by the flower god? Do you still remember every word you said when you agreed to marry me? The ghost master Tianan was covered in bruises, and at this moment, deep tears fell from his eyes. He smiled miserably and said, I still remember it all. I'll never forget. Bingruo, you are eternal beauty, eternal kindness, you are the one who told me to be upright and above board. Even if you are a ghost, you should be clean. Thank you. As the words fell, cold tears fell down his face. He stretched out his arms to hug Bingruo despite his severely injured body. In his arms, Bingruo exploded wildly, almost completely piercing his purple ghost body. But Tianan Ghost Lord just showed a quiet smile and murmured in a low voice. Let's leave this world cleanly together. He is about to blow himself up. Die completely with your former lover. No. Tianan Ghost Lord, stop it. Sensing something was wrong, Lord Xingluo immediately shouted angrily. However, he didn't dare to get close, because if the ghost master Tianan exploded himself, he would not be able to catch the terrifying fluctuations caused by it. And at this moment, in a small mountain village, the sun was quite nice today, so I had nothing to do. Li Fan hugged the little white cat and walked out of the yard. He walked around, strolling around the village, and looked at the watermelons in the field. Summer is here and everything is almost ripe. He then went into the field, picked a crisp melon that made a bouncing sound when he slapped it, and walked all the way to the yard of the second uncle's house, chatting with the second uncle while eating the melon. This melon is sweet and crispy, with a red heart, and tastes very delicious. Even Xiaobai eats it next to him, which surprises Li Fan. He has never seen a cat eat watermelon. Sometimes he would wonder if this little white cat had become a sperm. The two were very leisurely and chatting. Master, you are here. At this time, Xiling's voice sounded. She and Yun 11 rushed back and were about to go back to the courtyard to find Li Fan, but they didn't expect to meet him here. When Li Fan saw this, he immediately stood up and said with a smile. Where have you been? Where is Xining? Xiling said. Master Qi, we went to burn paper money for the ghost, but something happened. Problem occurs? Hearing this, Li Fan had not yet moved, but the second uncle immediately stood up and said. Are those ghosts lingering and refusing to leave? These are evil ghosts. I'm going to get the peachwood nails. Hearing this, Xiling hurriedly shook her head and said. No. Yun 11 also opened his mouth and said. The great demon king, there is a female ghost. She has forgotten the past and wants to kill her former lover, what should we do? Hearing this, Li Fan was immediately startled. A female ghost wants to kill her former lover? OMG, isn't this a plot that only appears in horror movies? Some women, after death, because they have resentments or cannot forget their loved ones, turn into ghosts and come back to demand their lives, and often the lives of their loved ones. What's going on? Li Fan couldn't help but feel a little scared. Ziling's eyes were also filled with sympathy and she said. They were about to get married. The female ghost even put on a wedding dress, but in the end she was harmed. Now we meet again, the female ghost has forgotten everything and has become a puppet who only knows how to kill. Hearing this, Li Fan's heart was in his throat. Let me go, a female ghost wearing a wedding dress. In any horror movie, this is a boss-level ghost. Even if Li Fan is not superstitious, he has heard that a female ghost wearing red is a bad omen. This ghost is back and wants to kill people. Xiao Li, this female ghost is not a good ghost. The second uncle listened and hurriedly spoke, I'd better go find the peachwood nails. But when Li Fan heard this, he hurriedly said, Second uncle, please wait. Let me try it first. He felt that it was best not to offend such a powerful ghost easily. Just use peachwood nails as soon as you come up. Wouldn't that offend the female ghost to death? When the time comes, if someone is not happy, he will just massacre the village. Although he had learned the art of talismans, he was still quite skeptical about the unreliable system. Be careful when sailing a 1,000-year-old ship. He thought about it and decided that he could only burn some paper and discuss it with the red-clothed ghost, let her go. If that female ghost insists on doing random things, it won't be too late to use peachwood nails, black dog blood, etc. to fight her. Thinking of this, he immediately said, Bring the yellow paper and follow me as master. He was going to go to the village to burn paper for the female ghost in red. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 531. Xiling and Yungzi followed Li Fan out of the small mountain village. Arriving at the small mountain village, Li Fan felt a little uneasy. Where was the female ghost? He knew that he was only at the first level of chi refining and was no different from a mortal, so he would definitely not be able to see the female ghost. Maybe, the female ghost has arrived beside him now and is staring at him. Thinking of this, Li Fan got goosebumps and felt his scalp was numb. However, he still remained calm. No, you can't be a coward. In his previous life, he had watched some supernatural movies, so he knew very well that the more frightened he was when faced with ghosts, the faster he would die. What's more, as the saying goes, ghosts are afraid of evil people. He took a deep breath and remained calm as the wind. Bring me the yellow paper. When Li Fan opened his mouth, Xiling immediately handed over a piece of yellow paper. Li Fan took out the fire-folding piece and immediately lit the yellow paper. At this moment, Xiling and Yun 11 were both surprised, because the yellow paper that even the Phoenix True Fire could not burn was burned out quickly like ordinary paper money. The big devil's burning of paper money won't destroy Bingruo like before, right? Yungzi was a little worried. Xiling shook her head and said, No, master must be sure. At this moment, Li Fan was panicking in his heart, but he still tried to pretend to be calm and composed, and said, A man dies like a lamp going out. Staying here for a long time will be of no benefit to yourself or the world. He believed that the female ghost should be able to hear him when he spoke. There was no movement, which meant that the female ghost was not angry. Very good, you can continue to persuade. Go to the underworld and reincarnate as soon as possible, and then enter reincarnation. Maybe you can meet your loved one again in the next life, and then you can cultivate the right path. Even if I am reluctant to give up, I will forget it even after drinking a bowl of menpo soup on the Nahi Bridge. Why should I cling to the pain of this life? Soon, a piece of paper money was burned. And at this moment, outside the Degzu Star Wheel, in the ghost battlefield. No. Lord Xingluo saw that Lord Tianese actually wanted to self-destruct, and he was extremely unwilling to do so. If they both self-destruct, how can he complete the ritual? Ghost Lord, no. Grown-ups. Goichi and other ghosts were all shouting anxiously at this moment. Xian Ning stood with her hands behind her hands, looking at the scene in front of her. She couldn't help but look in the direction of the Great Ruins realm. Didn't Big Brother take action? Even he can't do anything. Xining felt a little unbelievable. In her opinion, Li Fan is a peerless expert who can promote the recurrence of the underworld and recreate the endless river of cause and effect. In fact, they were all fished out by Li Fan from the long river of cause and effect in the underworld. Why? No. What is that? Suddenly, there was an exclamation from the audience. Goichi pointed at Tianyu in shock. Everyone looked up. On that endless ghostly battlefield, a burst of billowing yellow smoke suddenly appeared. The yellow smoke seemed to be wrapped in something terrifying. The yellow smoke was rolling and surging, carrying an unparalleled power. At this moment, the entire star field felt it. All the creatures in the star wheels and galaxies, no matter where they were suddenly stunned at this moment. It's like time has been frozen. What happened? Why did I see a person who looked like me, alternating between life and death over the years? A young man was shocked. He felt as if his eyes were dazzled. What's going on? Did I get a glimpse of my past life? There is a powerful wandering mind trembling, as if I feel the fragments of the years and find my former self. I saw a star disappear and be reborn. The continuation of life, the alternation of civilizations. Endless people, at the same moment, seem to be pulled into some kind of wonderful state, as if they are seeing the long river of time turning over, and seeing the death and life of all things in the world. However, it is impossible for any soul in the world to know where the source of all this is. In the starry sky, above the ghostly battlefield. In the billowing yellow smoke, it seemed as if something terrifying was gradually appearing. As if from the corner of some stone building, yellow smoke slowly poked out. Like a corner bridge. As this corner of the bridge was exposed, the thrilling atmosphere between heaven and earth increased tenfold, as if there was a book of time turning in the universe. No. What is that? I saw a galaxy being reborn and reincarnating. Goichi was extremely shocked. Everything seems to have stepped on some bridge. Starving ghosts and others are also shocked and confused. What is this? At this moment, God Lord Xingluo actually felt a great panic. He felt as if he couldn't help but want to kneel down. As if in that yellow smoke, is the master of everything. At this moment, Tian and Ghost Lord raised his eyes inexplicably. Bingruo in his arms suddenly calmed down and stopped being violent and attacking him. Under everyone's attention, the yellow smoke slowly dispersed. In the yellow smoke, a stone bridge was finally revealed. The stone bridge looked as if it had experienced the wind and rain of endless time and space, and was ancient and dusty. Deep in the stone bridge, the scenery is dark and shrouded in mist. It seems that there is a gurgling river flowing through it. The stone bridge seems to be flying over a long river, reaching the bank. On the river bank, there is a mysterious stone standing vaguely. The world behind the river bank is deep and dark, unexplorable, and so mysterious that no one can see clearly. The stone bridge emerged from the yellow smoke, gradually extended, and finally landed in front of Tianese Ghost Lord and Bingruo. At this moment, Tian and Ghost Lord was completely shocked. He looked at the scene in front of him in disbelief. What's happening here? In that mysterious yellow smoke, a bridge actually appeared. Moreover, he had a strong feeling that once he stepped on this bridge, his life would probably end and he would enter an endless reincarnation. This bridge seems to have appeared for Bingruo. But at this time, Lord Xingluo was extremely horrified, his eyes filled with terror, as if he had seen something that should not appear in this world, and he said in horror, "No. Impossible, is this the legendary Nahi Bridge? Impossible, absolutely impossible, that big shot is dead and has disappeared over the years, and the throne in heaven is empty." In his horror, he revealed a big secret. This great secret only exists in the 33rd heaven, and only a handful of people know about it. He is the younger brother of Star Destroyer God Lord, so he has heard a little bit about it. In some extremely ancient records in the 33rd heaven, the word underworld was recorded. And there are rumors that in the 33rd heaven, a certain unspeakable giant who once controlled the heaven left the heaven in order to pursue the illusory legend. The reason why that being left heaven was to pursue ancient legends, build the underworld, and explore reincarnation. Amidst countless fogs and rumors, that being created an extremely mysterious organization called Hell, trying to control reincarnation. Although there is no record of that supreme being in the world, anyone who knows this great secret knows the outcome and must have failed. Because, if that supreme being succeeds, the world may be in chaos, reincarnation will reappear, and the underworld that only exists in ancient history can actually create. It will be affected forever, and the entire world will be affected. There was even a similarly supreme figure in the 33rd heaven, and secret words regarding this matter were leaked. There is no hell in this world, and there is no reincarnation for eternity. Even in the 33rd heaven, this has become a consensus. Even the supreme existence in heaven has failed to recreate reincarnation, and no one will believe those illusory records and legends anymore. But today, the bridge that appeared. It's so similar to some of the rumors passed down by word of mouth in God's domain. Nehi Bridge, Xuanhuan River, Sans Hung Stone. Lord Xingluo looked at the bridge, the water, the stones. It is indeed very similar to the one in the legend. Moreover, the main reason is that when this bridge appeared, it brought with it the atmosphere of turning over the years and reincarnation through the ages, which made people have to think about the legendary underworld and reincarnation. And upon hearing Lord Xingluo's screams, Ghost Lord Tianan was instantly shocked, his eyes filled with disbelief, and he said, Nehi Bridge. Bridge of reincarnation. He was horrified. Because, among the ghosts, there are also similar legends. In the oldest records, the entire land of ghosts is waiting for reincarnation. Although ghosts have spirits, they long for real life. Only the legendary reincarnation can achieve this. It is said that some of the ultimate giants in the ghost world have even explored and joined forces to build the underworld. There are even records saying that those ultimate giants finally created a certain experimental product that appeared in a certain era in history in an attempt to promote the reincarnation of ghosts in the world. But that bridge eventually caused a catastrophe, and reincarnation failed. Instead, countless strong people among the ghosts lost their lives, and the ultimate giants shed their blood. From then on, everything became taboo. But now, the bridge appeared. With a legendary atmosphere. Appearing for Bingruo. He trembled.